Good morning. Today we're going to make a soup. So let's get started. It's going to be the first soup in a series of 6 that we're going to do. And the idea of it is that we're trying to show you how with soups you can feed yourself relatively inexpensively. And the beautiful thing about this particular soup, leek and potato, is that we grew all of the ingredients ourselves. The wonderful thing about a soup like this is you can add almost anything to it that you want, as little or as much that you want to put in the soup. We like to start with a little bit of butter, maybe a tablespoon or 2. Get the ball rolling with that. And into that, I like to put a little bit of flour as a thickener. And again, this is a soup. It's your soup. You can put as much in or as little in any of these ingredients that you want to. So I just took a handful of flour and threw it in there. The next step, into that soup pot, we're going to put some onions. I like to give them just a rough chop. And again, like everything else, the theme of this soup is that you can do however little or however much you want to do. I took 2 small onions in this case. That's one of our aromatics. We're going to do another one here. Okay, so since it's leek and potato soup, we're going to put some leeks in it. Maybe 2 leeks or so. Again, it's up to you. It'll be your soup. This is my soup, and so I'm just going to put a couple of leeks in that we grew at the garden. Get that going. Give it a little stir. That butter in there is melting nicely, and that flour is thickening things up a little bit. Got our aromatics in. We're going to let that saute for about 5 minutes. Alright, while the leeks and onions are softening up a bit, I'm going to start working on the stock. Now, the soup stock is entirely optional. We usually make our own soup stock out of leftover chicken parts. But for the camera, we're going to show you an easier way to do it. And that is, you can go to the grocery store and get whatever you want to get for soup stock. When we do that, we prefer this brand right here. It's I think it's organic. And all you need is a couple of teaspoons. Into a medium pot, we'll put a quart of water, and we'll put maybe 2 teaspoons. Again, it's your soup. You put in whatever you want. I think that over the years we've settled on pretty much maybe 2 teaspoons of this item. It's like a bouillon cube. Works really well. So I'm stirring the stock, and Danielle reminded me to tell you that better than bouillon tends to be salty, so do not add salt if you're going to use that. You could add a little bit of pepper if you want, but not salt. We found out the hard way. So we're just going to wait for the bouillon cube to finish its work, the better than bouillon, and we're also waiting for the aromatics, which are the onions and the leeks, to soften up. And then we'll finish up with the potatoes. Very easy. Our soup stock is looking really good. That's almost ready to go in. And our aromatics are nice and soft. It's all ready for the next step, which will be potatoes. Potatoes are the next step. The wonderful thing about this soup, for us anyway, is that we grew everything that's in the soup in our garden. But most people won't be doing that. You can get all these ingredients very inexpensively at the grocery store. Potatoes, dirt cheap. Leeks are about $2.50 each. All you need is 1 or 2, however many you want to put into it. Onions are starting to get expensive. We grow our own, but it just takes a couple of onions. So the potatoes will go in the soup next. And into our soup we're going to put our stock. And that, my friend, is basically it for the next several hours. Beautiful thing about a wood cook stove is we can take that soup and put it on the far right hand side and just let it simmer for as long as we want to. So in a few hours we'll check back in and we'll finish up the soup and see what it tastes like. Alright, it's time to check the soup, see if our vegetables are about done. I usually check the potatoes because they take the longest to cook. And I think that they're done. They're nice and soft. Potatoes are, oops, I won't hold you up. Potatoes are nice and soft. Very good. So the next step, or the last step on the soup is I'm going to take an electric wand. You don't have to do that, but I'm going to take the wand and I'm going to break it all up. Alright, the soup is basically done. I just need to add a few twists of pepper and a little bit of dairy. You can use whatever you have for dairy. I tend to go for heavy cream if I have it. That really adds a lot. You don't even have to put dairy in it. But that's basically the soup right there.